statements. Some statements have typos. Some are ambiguous. Some use the wrong words. Some have incorrect grammar. And some are subjective.
Hello guys, how's it going? So today we're debunking paradoxes, we're solving paradoxes, and this is the one I found to have a good explanation. So let's hear him out and then I'll interject my points.
But I hope you agree that there are some statements which are indisputably unambiguous, grammatically correct, clear, and objective. Like this one. In this video, let's limit our discussion to such indisputable statements. For a rational conversation using indisputable statements, the following three laws of thought are assumed. 1. The law of identity. Whatever is, is. Pinocchio is Pinocchio. 2. The law of non-contradiction. Nothing can both be and not be. Pinocchio's statement cannot both be true and not true. And 3. The law of the excluded middle. Everything must either be or not be. Pinocchio's statement must either be true or not true.
So here's the main issue. Alright, there are logics which reject these laws, but let's see how these laws take it. There are logics which reject these laws. How does logic reject these laws? These are the fundamental laws. Yes, these are the fundamental laws. You can't reject these laws. Like, these laws exist before any other laws. So you can't just create new law to reject them. And the rejection is the one that's incoherent. So you can reject these things. Unless he's got a good explanation, but it never. I don't know. Let's hear him. Let's hear him out.
Let's say that a conversation or any system of statements is consistent if it satisfies these laws. If it doesn't, then the system explodes. For example, let's go crazy and violate the law of non-contradiction. Let's say that 1 equals 1 and 1 does not equal 1 are both true.
So here's the problem. Here's the main problem. Is that you can't violate the laws, any of the laws, the law of identity, the law of contradiction, and the law of excluded middle. You can't violate those because those are the arbiter of truths. Then you can make truth claims that does not align with those three. So you can't violate them. That's the main rule.
Now, because we know that 1 equals 1, this statement must be true. 1 equals 1 and or pigs can fly. Because we know that at least the first clause is true. And for these and or statements, that's all that's needed to make the entire statement true. The second clause may or may not be true. But now our system has three truths. 1 equals 1, 1 does.
So this is a made-up system. It's not the same as the laws of the fundamental laws of logic, which comes from understanding our environment. It's descriptive of what happens in the physical world, and from how we observe the universe, we discover that there's three laws of logic, these three laws of logic. They reflect. We realize that the universe operates on these fundamental principles and laws of logic. So you can't, and if you're just creating things, now you're not. That is outside of the laws of logic. You can't put them on the same category. It's a category error. All right, moving on.
Does not equal 1, and 1 equals 1, and or pigs can fly. And from truth 2 and 3, a fourth truth follows. Pigs can fly, since at least one clause from 3 must be true, and 1 does not equal
These are not truths. These are just made up.
1. In this way, we can conclude anything from a system which harbors an inconsistency, even if it's just one tiny little inconsistency in a vast collection of otherwise consistent statements. One bad apple spoils the bunch. Okay, let's return to Pinocchio's situation. The fairy has promised to make his nose grow instantaneously every time he tells a lie. Let's say that Pinocchio makes this system of statements. We can determine whether each of these statements is true or false. Therefore, when Pinocchio says each one, we will know whether it's a truth or a lie. And consequently, we can determine whether or not his nose will grow. So this system of statements is consistent. But he could have said more. He could have said a lot more. If he said everything, if he actually said every potential statement, then I would say that his system of statements is complete. Let's define a complete system as one where every potential is actualized. But somewhere in the complete system, there will be this statement: my nose grows now. Now let's think about this statement. If the statement is false, then when Pinocchio says it, he would be lying, and therefore his nose should grow. But if his nose is to grow after saying it, then the statement is actually true. So when he says it, he would be telling the truth, and therefore his nose should not grow.
Hold up, buddy. Hold up. So, uh, with Pinocchio, the thing is that his nose grows to reflect his heart. So if his heart is lying, his nose will grow. But if he is being truthful, his nose remains as it is, doesn't grow. So when he says, my nose will grow now, and what happens is that uh, it won't grow, right? Because there is a thing about accidental truth. When you're lying and you accidentally tell the truth, there are also a thing that is there's accidental truth and there's unintended lies. So someone asks you, is your father in the house? And then you said no. You thought he's in the house, but you didn't know he left. That would be an accidental lie. And if someone wants to lie, you ask someone, uh, is your mom home? He thought his mom is not home, but didn't know that his mom just arrived. He said, yes, my mom is not. Uh, no, my mom is not home. But but his mom arrived. He didn't know. Then he is. Uh, no. His mom accident. Here's the accidental line. So a thief is says that uh, he. I kind of. Sorry about this. But I kind of lost my train of thought. So his mom is not home. He says that his mom is not home, lying, and then but his mom actually arrived, and he didn't know that his mom arrived. So that turned into an accidental truth, right? accidental truth. So, with Pinocchio, when he says that if he meant to lie about his nose growing, then it will grow. It can't mean he knows for the fact that he know that his nose grows when he lies, right? So when, if his heart this is not being truthful, then it will grow. But if when he says that my my nose will not grow, of course it's telling the truth, because he knows that his nose will not grow. So there's that uh, intentional intentional and intentional lies in which correspond to his nose growing and not growing.
But if his nose doesn't grow after saying it, then the statement is actually false.
If his nose doesn't grow, then his nose does. If say my nose grows now and it doesn't grow, therefore it's a lie. If he like yes, if it doesn't, but with Pinocchio, the thing is that it will grow, right? So you have this hypothetical that if it doesn't grow, right? If it says that my nose grows now and it doesn't grow, then uh, it should be a lie. Here's it can be confusing. Language can be confusing because there is ambiguity and uh, it can be confusing. Definitely can be confusing. So what you start with what's the intent, right? The intent and the outcome. So if his intention is to tell the truth that his nose will grow now, then uh, and knowing that his nose would grow if he's being truthful, right? So it will it will grow. My 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 nose will grow now, but it won't because he's not uh, he's lying, right? All right, so Pinocchio is lying. If he's lying about and says, my nose will grow now," he's lying because, all right, if he says my nose will grow and it grows, what does that mean? Uh, it means that he's lying, right? So the outcome kind of tells you that he's lying because we know his nose will grow if he lies, and if it doesn't grow, uh, from saying my nose grows now, it that would be that would be inconsistent that would be inconsistent because it's supposed to grow. Okay, so it's that my my grows my nose grows now. That it should grow. And if he says that my nose grows now and it grows, it is then uh, my nose grows now, but it doesn't grow. It's not. It's an impossibility because it's supposed to to grow. It's like uh, what's going on here is pyramid. It's a reverse pyramid of morals. So you change the rules. You change the rules here. You're switching from one rule to the next without getting noticed. The first rule is let's say we want a little bit. So my nose grows now. Truth, it does grow, but this is inverse moral. You know, you inverse the moral here. is it's not supposed to grow because you're lying. You're lying because you're lying here. It's a lie when Pinocchio says his nose will grow, unless he has a prior statement which is a lie. Unless he has a prior statement, that is a lie. And unless he has a lie, he lied to his he lied from his prior statement and followed up by my nose will grow now. Sure, it will grow because it told a lie prior. But if his own statement is to say that my nose will grow now, it's coming from him from his heart. No, his nose only responds to his heart. So if his heart lies, his nose grows. Simple. And whatever the statement is, the statement doesn't matter really. The statement doesn't matter. It's what his heart intends. It's all about his heart's intention.
And therefore his nose should not grow. But if his nose doesn't grow after saying it, then the statement is actually false. And so on, to no end.
Alright, so hold on.
We cannot.
My nose grows now. Lie, not grow. But what is his intention for saying my nose grows now? In knowing full well that his nose only grows when his heart is being deceitful. So if his heart is lying, knowing full well that his nose will only grow if his heart is lying. It's just a response to his heart. So when his heart lies, of course, the statement "my nose grows now" is always a lie, always, right? But you then inverse the morals. That what if he is telling the truth? It still grows. That's what this is about. You inverse the morals where uh, is it the nose will go no matter what. Uh, the nose will go whether he's telling the truth, whether his heart is being truthful or being deceitful. Like it both it so with the it's always a lie. So you can't claim that uh, you are deceiving yourself by thinking that because his, his statement and the outcome coincide. Says that his nose will grow, and and it did grow. Therefore, it's true. But what you're missing is the starting point with his heart, with his heart being deceitful. So you miss that because you only look at the statement and the outcome, right? You will have to tighten up the paradox for this the because right now it doesn't work, right? We fully debunk that. So if you don't know who I am, I'm just a maverick, but I've been into the biggest philosophy server on Discord, Philosophy Cafe, and I've debated some of the said best logisticians, and I came out on top. Sadly, uh, Sunny Coin's chamber, you get kicked out for being smart, right? You don't. There's no explanation. There's no counter argument. It's just that you're different, right? So sadly, that's how things work. And I have the proof. I'm just waiting to kind of expose this to those moderators, like with how they. It's so. You know, it's so embarrassing that they operate in in that level. And I asked the other moderators, which kind of like being a pussy as well. They didn't uh, raise my point. They didn't challenge the other moderator. They kind of just echoing each other. Anyway, moving forward.
Not determine whether or not his nose should grow, but something has to happen. The system explodes. The complete system of statements is inconsistent. In Pinocchio's case, you cannot have both completeness and consistency.
All right, so subscribe to this guy. It's like he makes good videos, and I it's a crime that he's not getting all those views. I only got 12K, and subscribe to him if you haven't, and maybe subscribe to me too, and so like I can grow from YouTube. Anyways, that's it for this video. Hope you find this informative and useful, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.